Okay, we'll just go ahead and get started without, and then. All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the April the 2nd Design Review Board meeting. First up is roll call.
Board Member Holscher,
Here.
Vice Chair Rosner,
Here.
Chair Chong,
Here.
and Board Member Dorcio is not going to be here today, and Board Member Kim is running a few minutes late.
All right, thank you. Now on the agenda is oral communications for anybody wishing to address the Design Review Board for any items that are not on this evening's agenda. So if you're here to speak on any items not on this evening's agenda, if you could either come forward, or if you're on the Zoom call, use the raise hand feature at the bottom of the screen and we'll let you in the room.
Chair Chong, there are no hands raised on Zoom.
All right, thank you. And we move to staff briefing.
I have no briefing this evening.
Right, and next up is the approval of the minutes or adoption of the minutes from the March 5th Design Review Board meeting. Is there any comments on those minutes? Is there a motion to adopt the minutes from March 5th meeting?
Motion to adopt the minutes.
Is there a second?
I second.
And is all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. And with that, we adopt the minutes from the last meeting and move to the first item on this evening's agenda. So maybe we'll just take a quick pause. You said she was on Tiburon Boulevard. Yeah, well, we can just at least introduce the format that we use at tonight's meeting and every meeting, which is the applicant will have up to 20 minutes to present, at which point we'll open it up to the public. The public will have 3 minutes per individual to speak about any comments or concerns about the project. And then the applicant will have 5 additional minutes after the public has made their comments to address any of the concerns that might have been raised. With that, we'll just take a quick little pause and wait for.
If I may,
It's all right. Well,
if I may, Chair, I want to remind the Design Review Board that this is an ex parte hearing. So prior to the item being addressed, now is the time to disclose any site visits or communications you've had outside of the public hearings with the applicant or neighbors, and if that would in any way impact your decision.
okay. We do that now versus during our comments, or?
You should do it before the presentations.
All right. Would anybody like to, this is our first time doing this. So basically we ask for anybody that has made site visits.
So
communications.
If I may, and this is something that is a California regulation, so the process has always been in place. It just maybe hasn't been previously done here. So I'm just trying to make sure that moving forward, we're very consistent with how we run things. So each commissioner has a chance to say, I have nothing to disclose, or, you know, I visited the site on XYZ, I talked to this neighbor, and if you don't have the dates, that's totally okay. Really just trying to put on the record and be totally transparent about anything that could affect your decision-making tonight. And if you haven't gone and haven't talked to anybody, then you just say, I have nothing to disclose.
All right. Would anybody like to begin?
Sure.
We have a habit of going out to all the sites for all the applications
Sure.
and add a few extra minutes to each meeting.
Yeah, I went to the site. I went to 3 of the neighbors' homes this morning and spoke with each of them. And there's nothing that would affect my decision making from that, other than being able to view it.
Likewise, this morning, visited 699 Hawthorne, 705 Hawthorne, 3 Rock Hill.
Yeah.
And the site as well. Spoke to the neighboring property owners, and yeah, it was just to view the story posts.
As well, I visited the site last night, along with 2 of the neighbors last night, and one of the neighbors this morning, the 3 that were the ones that had written letters and had concerns and would be the most impacted. And just as a way to see the story polls, and there's nothing that would impact my decision other than the view that I saw from the neighbors.
And I should clarify, it's really if something would influence your ability to make a fair decision. So it's
Okay.
fair to use the information you learned because you're sharing what that was in the visit that you did. It's more just making sure that it doesn't impact your ability to review the matter as a whole and make a decision based on the guidelines. And thank you.
Is there anything you'd like to disclose?
This afternoon I visited 700 Hawthorne. I'm sorry, I don't know the addresses. I'm trying to pull them up. I believe 699 Hawthorne. I don't know the across the street address.
705.
705. And then the next street up, I believe, is Rock Hill. I visited 3 Rock Hill and I visited all around. I walked all around. No, one thing does not influence my decision. They all sort of all compositely kind of influence it indirectly. So my decision was based on objective view and everything.
All right, first time doing that one. With that, if the application for PH1 700 Hawthorne applicant could come up, and you have your 20 minutes.
Doesn't sound on. I don't think so.
If it doesn't bother you, okay. Hi, I'm Eric again. We were here last November, and at that point in time, you guys didn't. We're trying to do 2 things: trying to go up a little bit and out a little bit towards Rock Hill. Last time we met, you guys didn't really have a problem at all with the height we were going up, and I understand that there's some impact on the neighbors. Would love to be able to do a project that had no impact on the neighbors, but it's just not really feasible to do a worthwhile remodel on this house that doesn't have some impact on the neighbors. And I've tried very much to minimize that as much as possible. And so at the last meeting, you guys had no problem with the height. Had a little, and then kind of went back and forth and thought the corner of the house at Rock Hill and Tiburon Boulevard, you thought was infringing on the view of, I believe it's 699 Hawthorne, a little bit. And so we moved over that part of the house about 2 feet, which from an angle standpoint, makes a pretty sizable difference on the amount that it infringes on the neighbor's view. And if you guys were all out at the houses, you saw that with your own eyes, and obviously you're going to make your own decisions on, whether you think that it's all reasonable. As I said before, we love this neighborhood. We love the sun. We love being close to the path. It's a great neighborhood to raise our kids, and it's been tough. We've been out of the house for a while now because it's a small house and we've got 2 kids and it's a 2-bedroom house. And so it's been costly being out of the house for a while now. And this process is taken longer than I was hoping. And so I'm very much want to get it resolved tonight. And so I mean, we very much don't feel like we're asking a ton for the remodel that we want to do. We feel like the remodeled house would be a huge benefit to the neighborhood as a whole. And it's going to have some impact on the neighbors. Like I said, it's a fairly minimal impact. The amount that the roof is going up it's going up 6 inches higher than the current solar panels. And the solar panels are going to be moved to a part of the roof that's going to stay at the current height. So really, overall, the height's going up 6 inches from the current, where the current solar panels are, which very much was my intention to minimize that impact. I mean, I don't have a lot more to say than that, other than that we've tried to make these plans very feasible and reasonable for everyone around us. I know even within that reason, there's going to be some neighbors that just don't want anything to change. And, you know, from my standpoint, that's not, it's not feasible to not change anything if I'm gonna do, you know, any sort of remodel to this house. So hopefully it's not, you know, it's not too much of an imposition on everyone and we can move forward and get this done and move back into our house. I don't know. I don't have anything more to say than that.
All right. Any questions for the applicant?
I just had one question, regarding like mechanical equipment or event, you know, there's, sorry, I'm trying to go through the elevations. So currently like this, some sort of vent on top of the roof is not shown in the existing elevation. On what is this, A41? Is that what's on the going to be on the roof from mechanical? Is that staying? Is this
We talked to this too.
the chimney? That's what I think, chimney vent. It's not shown on the existing elevation, so I'm just
Almost in the middle.
okay.
Could you speak in the mic? I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the chimney and it's almost in the middle of the building.
Okay. And it's remaining, is that
Yes.
okay? So that exact piece is remaining.
Yes.
On the okay.
It's not changing.
Not changing.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so when you say it's not changing, does that mean that it gets built around or it gets taken off, the new roof gets put on, and then it gets put on at a higher height than it currently is now?
I think it's bricked right now, isn't it?
Well, no, I think they're talking about the metal chimney on the, no, it's just a metal chimney on the top of the roof,
Like the
like a vent.
the
There's-
flash
Yeah,
part?
yeah, you want to spin it around and show them what we're talking about?
So it's the flue.
The flue, it's a
Yeah.
flue. It's a cut. Is it? It's a flue extension.
It's, yeah, it's,
But it's part of it.
yeah, it's the.
Oh, it has like a.
The top.
like
Little hat?
print-
It's a
brake hat.
Do you know? Just just because.
Yeah.
That, yeah.
Is that? But there, my understanding is, and maybe I'll ask staff because there is a code requirement of that being, I think, like 3
feet.
So will that have to be further extended?
I haven't actually measured that,
Okay.
but it looks to me like the bottom is probably about 2 and it looks like the top is probably about 3.
It looks it looks taller than required by code.
Currently,
Right.
currently.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
and I thought it was 2 feet. I thought it was 2.
I think it's like,
I thought the requirement was 2 feet
Well, I
above.
mean, it looked like it was 4 feet above.
Yeah,
it is. There's it depends on that. Yeah. I think
Yeah,
this was
yeah,
my house.
yeah.
I'm trying to remember, but yeah, it's 2 feet sometimes, 3 feet sometimes. Okay, cool. All right. That's good to know. I think that's the only question I had.
I do not have questions.
All right, thank you. Oh,
Sorry. I was looking at your planting plan and I see like general generic sort of species, but do you know what the maturity at the maximum height at maturity is for the planting? Because it's not specified like,
Well, we're not necessarily doing more plant. Actually, you bring up a good point. Some of the existing trees are going to be taken out because there's not room for them. And that's actually going to open up some views that are currently not open to all the neighbors that are impacted. Because there's trees along the fence that would come down and open up some views there. And there's a tree over by the, along the fence are more like shrubs. But, and then a large tree between our house and the neighbor's house, which I guess is 702. I don't know the actual number of their house. But a big tree will come out there, which would open up a lot of view to both 699, well, not as much 699, but the house directly across the street, which I guess is 701.
You can see that tree on A
I see it, yeah.
4.15.
Yeah, so there's not necessarily a planting plan. There's more of a removal plan.
All the existing landscaping is to remain. We're not adding anything new at all. We're taking one tree out.
any additional questions? Okay, all right, thank you.
Thanks.
And with that, we'll open it up to the public. So if you're here to speak about this application, if you could come forward, if you could state your name and address for the record, and keep your comments to 3 minutes.
The person on Zoom go first?
There's no reason why we can't, yeah. If you're on the Zoom call, if you could use the raise hand feature to speak, and we'll let you into the room.
Chair Chong, we have no public comment from the Zoom oh.
Oop.
I misspoke. There is one hand raised. I'm going to turn on the microphone for Dr., forgive me if I pronounce this wrong, Shafagi.
All right. Hello, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Thank you so much for having me.
All right.
So, thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. My name is Netta Shafagi, and I do live at 705 Hawthorne Drive. I grew up here in Tiburon, and my family has very deep roots in this community. I want to begin by saying I absolutely respect my neighbor's right to improve their home. And I certainly support thoughtful development and would never want to stand in the way of that. My concern is not really with the building itself, but with the proposed way that the building is being put forth and with the impact on a very long established primary view corridor from our home, particularly, as it is the very main view that you look out on. I know that, and I know as the DRB, respectfully, I know you know this better than I do, but our policies are clear that primary view corridors do indeed deserve special consideration and that they are a shared community resource in our beautiful town of Tiburon, and that whenever possible, projects should minimize the view that the view impacts that whenever feasible in any construction. And I know this principle has been taken very seriously in this community now and almost always. It's never really been something that I've ever heard be really, that's kind of a line that I've not heard be crossed in the past. And while I understand my neighbor's point of view, there is a very feasible alternative to the proposed plan, and that is specifically to build down instead of to build up. And I know in my conversations with Eric, when I was able to meet with him, that his concern was regarding the cost of potentially doing that. And actually, we have confirmed that there is the appropriate, underneath, there is the appropriate infrastructure to be able to do that without actually having to completely, bulldoze through the underground. And in addition, if the consideration is taken that if you build up, you would have to destroy the roof, keep the floor. But if you're building down, you can keep the roof and then you would have to redo the floor part. I think this is a very feasible and considerate plan. And I know that we all have.
We're at 3 minutes, so if I could get you
Yes,
wrap your
yes.
comment up.
So we all have our ideas of how we like to proceed, but I think this is one that is considerate of all the neighbors and would benefit everyone.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much. All right. Anybody else on the Zoom call that wishes to speak?
There are no more public comments from the Zoom audience.
All right, we'll take public comment here in the room. You could please come forward, state your name and address.
Yeah, they can't hear me anymore, I don't think. Yeah, go ahead.
Yep.
All right.
Okay, my name is Cameron Shirazi. We live at 3 Rock Hill Drive. We are diagonally behind the proposed remodel 700 Hawthorne, the Tourette's family. We know them and we welcome the remodel. Their family is growing and we, welcome the expansion. The only thing we had issue or two is the increase in height with this remodel, and then the portion by Tiburon Boulevard that would also impact the primary views of the building in front of us. I think the increase in height of 2.5 to 3 feet, that would go against the guiding principles and hillside design guidelines for town of Tiburon. It would block our views, and it, in doing that, it has a negative financial impact for us, for the people living behind. We would lose view and thereby. We know that there was undergrounding just recently done in our area, and this proposal was to improve safety, but also improve our views. And we paid a large amount of money to have this done. And then it will be counter now when the roofs go up, when the roof at 700 Hawthorne goes up. And, it will undo, at least part of that undergrounding that was done. And also this could set precedents in the future for the other buildings to increase their height. Then the whole character of our neighborhood will change. So we wanted those to be taken into account. When we did our new construction a few years back, and I think Chair Brian Chong and Ms. Susan Kim, you were part of the design review. It was very important when we were building not to go above the roof line, the highest point. In fact, we had to come down 1/2 foot and then dig down in order to get approval. Same thing with the house in front of us, the Lees. Same issue. They did not go over the highest roof point. I remember Brian came and we looked, and Brian asked, "Does this block your primary view?" I said no. I wrote a letter of support, and the project was approved by DRB. I just want all of those to be taken into account. I know Mr. Sadrier, who's a known architect in town.
We're at 3 minutes, so if I could just get you wrapped up.
I want to support his comments. That's all. His proposal for alternatives where the roof height's not increased. That's all. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. Any additional comment there?
Ryan Lee with 699 Hawthorne. As you guys know, I came to the last meeting. I just moved in October, mid-October, October 12th. Okay, so just want to start. Although this particular thing has been stressful, it's a blessing to be here. We love it here. We're happy to be here. We hope to be here for many decades. So we are happy to be in Tiburon. Although this particular thing is a little bit of a stressor. We'll get past it. But based on the hillside guidelines, that's the only thing I was pointed to look at. I just wanted to establish a few things. The increase in the roof height by 2 feet 9 inches, 24 inches, so almost 3 feet at the corner of Tiburon and Rock Hill. And the expansion of the wall facing Rock Hill by 3.5 feet. They did bring in a partial of it, but a small portion, a minority portion of it to bring in the corner. But a lot of that wall is going out by 3.5 feet, has a material impact on our primary view. Sausalito, that's the main thing that it's impacting, which is mentioned as an important object in the hillside guidelines. This is from our great room, which is our living room, kitchen, dining room, basically all in one, but it doesn't matter where you walk around it. You can see that there's a material impact. And that's defined as a primary living area, I guess, or primary living space. And I also want to establish that because we live on the other side of Hawthorne, we're blocked by the houses in front of us. And so our view corridor is specifically Rock Hill and where Tiburon Boulevard intersect in that intersection with the light. That's our view corridor and above 700 Hawthorne. So any increase in height by 3 feet, for example, is a material meaningful impact. I'm not saying it's the end of the world. I'm not saying it's everything. I'm not saying it's 100% of the impact, but it is material. And so I think if there's if there was any attempt to talk to me before they submitted the first application or the second application, they could have come over to see, or they could have seen how that might impact me instead of assume that it doesn't impact me that much and it's worthwhile. So I think if there is a way to go down, and if the existing grade is 2 feet 7 inches below the finished floor, maybe they should explore that if they haven't already. And if they haven't already, or if they have already, we should ask direct questions to see if they can respond to the incremental cost or whatever complexity or anything if they've explored it. But regardless, like major remodels that have been completed on the street have also gone down. Like I think it was Daryl Smith said that he had to do it and he knew he said 7, but anyways, there's a lot of examples where they went down even though it's more costly and complex. And the last thing I want to say is that instead of going out 3.5 feet towards Rock Hill, they could do it towards the front and it would still impact the same dining room, but still expand the same dining room. There are alternatives, and no matter what they do, this is going to be meaningful. They're adding 800 square feet. They're adding, they're going to change the ceiling height if they go down.
We're at 3 minutes. If we could just wrap up.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
It wasn't the end, but the other thing I wanted to ask about is if the Caltrains looked at the Tiburon to Rock Hill intersection, because if you take a right onto Rock Hill, there's actually very low visibility. So based on the landscaping plans, I don't know if they're going to take out any of the landscaping to build the house and then reinstate it. But I just wanted to clarify that, and I was going to ask staff. But yeah.
All right. Thank you. Additional public comment?
How you doing? I'm Mohammed Sadri. I just wanted to have a few comments on this project. One thing I just wanted to point out on some of the items in the Tiburon Design Guideline, it says, let's see what they have to say about this situation. It says, reduce bulk by using underground space. So there's certainly quite a bit of underfloor space here in this project that can be utilized to preserve the views of the neighbors. It says locate new structures for minimal interference of views, preserve existing view, cut corner of building if necessary, avoid partial view blockage, protect views in major rooms, do not block small views. So the design guideline clearly instructs us to see if there's ways that we can accomplish this. Now, as Mr. Shirazi said, when we designed his home, we had numerous meetings with uphill neighbors, and we were originally going to just maintain the existing ridge height of the existing home and go farther down. And as a result of our discussions, we actually went even an additional 6 inches lower than the existing height of the existing building. So that's kind of how things are done in this neighborhood, because the slope of the land is so mild that there really is not an expansive view where you can go up and the addition has no effect. The addition has major effect on this slope. Fortunately, the applicant at 700 Hawthorne has some easy modifications that they can make to avoid infringing on the views. In order to maintain the existing roof height while providing 10-foot ceilings, they can go down. And since the existing grade under this area seems to be about 2'7", they can either excavate a little or even make a slab floor in this area and do this without much expense. Now, keep in mind that the expense of going down would be partially offset by the expense of not having to redo the roof and bring it up. And it would have one partial benefit for the owner in that right now there's a substantial distance from the proposed deck to the backyard, by dropping the building down 2 feet, you would get much closer to the backyard, and I think that that would be beneficial.
We're at 3 minutes, so if I could get you to
Okay.
wrap up, and I will add that we were provided the entire letter as slate.
Yeah. The other thing I want to point out is that the infringement towards the rear of the house by the dining room, if that whole wing is moved back to where the existing wall of the dining room is, and the addition is made on the uphill side, there would be no additional expense. It could easily be achieved with the additional bonus to the
If I
homeowner.
could just get you to wrap up,
Sure.
yeah, we're over.
To the additional bonus to the homeowner that they would have more of their backyard to use.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Any additional public comment?
My name is Mo at 705 Hawthorne Drive. We support the model, but not the proposed height. The height will reflect our view significantly, and that's all I mean, we are gonna be affected very badly. That's all I can tell. My daughter said it all.
Right.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Any additional public comment? All right, and we'll go to the Zoom call one last time. If you could use the raise hand feature.
Chair Chong, there are no comments from the Zoom audience.
All right, with that, we will bring it back to the applicant. You have up to 5 minutes to address any comments that were made. You don't have to, if you don't.
No, yeah.
Okay, we might have some questions. Does anybody have any additional questions for the applicant?
I do have 2 questions.
Maybe if we could bring it back up for the questions, yeah.
And sorry if I missed it. What's the what are the dimensions of the width of the proposed living room?
The dimensions of I'm not sure which room you're talking about.
The proposed living room is
Well, the living room's basically staying the same. It's not an addition. The living room is like the main part where you walk in the house.
and do you know how wide that room is currently?
Um,
So it's,
I don't,
it's
23 and a half feet wide,
I think it's minus some,
minus some, yeah.
and that's what I'm trying to, yeah.
I don't think it's currently that wide.
According to
According to the dimensions
the
down
dimension
there.
From
on
the wall, you're talking from the wall with the fireplace
the wall with the fireplace
to
to
the other wall.
the other wall.
Boy, it's probably 18 feet, maybe.
Okay.
Something like that.
Okay. And then do you have an image, do we have any, like existing, or proposed overlaid with the existing site plan, floor plan? Just
We
kinda see-
have, I don't have anything overlaying,
Okay,
but we have consecutive sheets. Yeah, we don't have any overlays, but we have consecutive sheets.
okay.
So the site plan would be A one
So
point
scale,
zero.
okay,
And then A 1.01.
okay. Okay, cool. All right, thank you.
Any other questions for the applicant? I just had one, maybe a couple. So one is just clarification on some of the numbers. So we're going from 8-foot ceilings to 10-foot ceilings, right?
Correct.
And then what's the difference of the roof heights that's changing?
I believe it's slightly peaked. I believe it's 2 feet 6 inches at the highest point, and then 2 feet even at the ends.
So is the 6 inches just to account for slope? Is that okay? All right, that was one. And then the other one was I listened to the original meeting, and I guess there was a comment kind of made about the difficulties of going down. Can you please, I assume that you explored going down. Can you kind of walk us through exactly the details behind what would be involved in going down and potentially costs associated with that?
Eric's lot actually has a pretty good slope to it from the corner on Tiburon Boulevard and Rock Hill to the corner opposite across the building is 4 feet in elevation. And then on the other side of that is a hill that climbs probably 8 to 10 feet in about, I don't know, maybe 12 feet or so. So Eric's lot is pretty steep. If we were to dig down, we would be digging a lot in that one corner. And we already are digging down. We're taking out part of the hill.
Sorry, which corner are you referring to?
The corner closest to Hawthorne, opposite Rock Hill. So
Southeast.
yeah, next to the tree we're taking out.
So you're saying that the crawl space is non-existent there? And then it goes, as it goes towards the intersection with Rock Hill and Tiburon Boulevard, it's substantial. How much of that plan is?
I should also say that at some point, our current kitchen, at some point that was an add-on. And there's like a patio beneath there that's very close to beneath the floor. That, you know, this house is kind of a bit of a Frankenstein house, I think, over the years to get to the point where it's at. So if you go under the house in the crawl space, in the back of the house is more crawl space, but underneath the kitchen, there's not really even enough room to get underneath there.
Okay, I think I'm following. So because of the slope of the lot, like the further you go
Well,
down,
we're saying two different things. He's saying the slope of the lot in that corner, the southeast corner where the carport currently is, you have to dig out a whole bunch to go down more and have level floors. And you'd be quite a bit sort of below grade there. And then what I'm also saying is the kitchen currently, where it exists above ground from the exterior. In an interior standpoint, it's not really above the ground because there's a big concrete patio underneath it.
okay.
So
Under
on,
them, isn't it?
I'm trying to,
The laundry room it's level with the carport. Yeah.
so by the carport on A112, I'm trying to it's pretty small and I
Small
can't
set,
see that.
yeah.
You want a full-size set?
Oh, that's all right. I just asked, there's,
We've got the electrical.
It's right here, this area.
I think what we're talking about where you're digging, is there a retaining, or you're adding a retaining wall? Cause there's,
We are.
oh yes, I have an iPad. Yeah, right here, there's that, you're adding a retaining wall and there's a 3-foot gap between the house and the retaining wall. How tall is that retaining wall and what's gonna be, like, why the 3-foot gap?
So you can manage around it with a garbage can or a
Okay.
wheelbarrow or anything like that. The height of it is on one of the elevation sheets. I don't remember off the top of my head.
Like probably 4 feet or something.
Should be
It's over there.
4.11 or 4.12.
It's 5'6".
Oh, that
It could be on there
proposed-
too.
That proposed retaining wall is 5'6". Okay.
But what I don't understand, sorry. Oh, I see the elevation, so there's a wall right here, so they're digging out that much.
What page are you on?
But the crawl space
Oh, I see it now.
takes up majority of the elevation, except for the kitchen, except for that sort of carport. There is a crawl space in the rest of the building.
Part of it. The slope
Yeah, right there.
along Tiburon Boulevard goes up, so the crawl space underneath the current master bedroom, what will stay the master bedroom, is also quite a bit less.
So
Because
what do you mean
it
by
slopes up.
what?
So there's maybe 3 feet of crawl space right now under the main part of the house, but under like the bedroom, under the master bedroom at the southern end of the house, there's maybe 1.5 feet.
Okay, anybody has any final questions before we close the public portion of the hearing?
No.
All right.
I have
Uh,
a question for staff.
Oh, we can always ask that.
Okay.
Unless you think it's going to impact needing to ask the applicant another question.
No.
All right, with that, thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. With that, I see your hand up. We've already used the time. So with that, I think we'll close the public portion of the hearing and bring it back to the board.
I have a question for staff. We looked at a building, I think, I don't know what time what it was like months ago, at a corner where it wasn't a Caltrans sort of maintained road like Tiburon Boulevard, but there were standards about visibility of the shrubbery and the fencing. Like, has Caltrans looked at this? Because this is a Caltrans level sort of boulevard.
We did route the plans to them. I want to say it was prior to the first hearing, and the question that we asked was related to the fence and if there were any concerns, because there is a variance being requested. The maximum height you're allowed in that triangle is 30 inches. And this is 9 feet, so it's a little bit taller. And they didn't have any objections to it at that time. There wasn't any modifications to the landscaping proposed in that area, so that was not part of what they evaluated.
So it's a 9-foot fence at that corner, and who is that landscaping maintained by? Is that on private property, or is that a right of way? Like, is that a town of Tiburon piece of?
It's not the town, because there's a Caltrans easement for like a future roadway.
And then when you go up to when you turn up to is it Rock Hill?
It is Rock Hill, yeah. I think that all of the landscaping, I'm just gonna quickly look at the plans, is all within the property, but the adjacent right away would be the town, within the town's jurisdiction. On Rock Hill, if that's what you're asking.
So how much taller is the height of the fencing compared to what's existing right now?
That is a great question. You always ask me things I'm not prepared.
I'm sorry.
No, it's part of my job. I think it varies between 5 and 6 feet now.
Above grade?
Yeah.
Because it's kind
It
of
varies because it slopes down as it goes into that corner. Do we have an existing elevation?
I feel like it was level all the way across, but maybe my memory's failing me.
No.
It goes down. It
goes
follows.
down.
Yeah. It follows the grade now, I believe.
I'll look at Google. Yeah, so the top kind of does look like it's going down. Okay.
Yeah.
And so you had to ask for an exception from Caltrans.
Not from Caltrans. It's since there is an easement that runs through it, it's still the variance is because it's within the setbacks of the property. So even though that there's an easement that runs through the rear setback, based on our code, that location of the easement doesn't change where we count the setback. So we're still looking to review a variance within the required setback for their property.
Okay, and the variance would be for the notch out with the kitchen.
No, so the variance is only for the fence.
It's only for the
because of
fence.
height.
Okay, got it.
And it's at the 2 sections.
Okay. It looks pretty even, but yeah.
Suzanne, you can see it on the original 1120. There's some
Yeah.
photographs in there.
Yeah, it's deceptive. Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of dips down there
Yeah.
when it falls into that trench.
Okay.
Questions, answers you need?
No, sorry.
All right, so with that, who would like to lead us off? Don't everybody speak at once.
Okay, I'll
All right,
start. I was originally pretty much okay with all of this, but I really didn't get a chance to go to 699 or the one across the street. And once you get inside the space, I understand the resistance because these homes are pretty tight and the elevation there is pretty tight. I can understand the sensitivity of these sort of like peekaboo sort of views and stuff and protecting what they have. 3 feet's a lot. I'm wondering if there's a compromise here where we can push part of it down, and it's like the portion of the roof that they want to raise is at the wrong place. If it were on the other side, I don't think there'll be as much objection because of the planting there. I don't know. I'm having both the planting and I'm just wondering if there's a solution where they can stay within sort of that corner and just sort of not have to ask, I mean, not have push that piece out. And I'm wondering if there is a way to do that. And I also think having the roof sort of elevated, gosh, I just feel like this neighborhood, I mean, just walking around, like every foot matters. Everything is so flat, everything is so tight. And these houses are there and they're tiny. And I'm just like, we asked the house at 3 Rock Hill to actually push their roof down to accommodate the neighbor above. And it sounds like, we've done that a number of times in that neighborhood, just to consider, especially along that street, to consider the existing roof to be the sort of the datum point from which to understand. Like if they want to have 10-foot ceilings, I feel like they got to go down. There have to be a level change in that building, which is not great either. But if they want to have a 10-foot great room, maybe they push that section down and there's some crawl space. Yes, there is a concrete patio, but they're also digging already. So I don't know. I think I understand that there's probably a happier way to deal with this. So that's where I'm standing right now. That there's a design solution that's more accommodating.
I'm happy to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in agreement with board member Kim. I like looking at the floor plan. I don't really see why that needs to bump out 3 feet, that whole side. Like it doesn't seem like by not bumping that out, the floor plan is significantly constrained. I think that to your point, 699, that corner is still in a lot of angles of that living space of that dining room. It lops off a huge chunk and it adds a lot of bulk to it. And it's tough because it's, it's a slim view corridor. And I think, again, unless I'm missing something, I'm not sure why that needs to be, why they can't just use that existing wall. It doesn't seem like it would materially change the floor plan. And to the point, I think I brought this up last time, if they wanted to add some width, go to the other side. And I think we had the conversation, there's a high slope, but they have 3 feet they're already building a 5.5-foot retaining wall and it seems like they have 3 feet.
Well, I think they're using the fireplace as a datum and then sort of pacing it out, and that's what's causing that.
But yeah, and I mean, I still think that that wall pushing out is a material impact for 699. And I think to your point, there's, Yeah, I just think there's some compromises, I think, on the floor plan that I think will still, the final output will be a very livable, like, I don't think it'll be a detrimental to the floor plan to design around that. In terms of the height, I think I'm usually in the camp of like, and often in the minority that like 10, I don't think people are entitled to 10 feet. A jump from 8 to 10 is a 25% increase in height. Like there are in betweens. I mean, I think especially I'm trying to figure out this. I don't think this design requires a 10-foot ceilings for this design. I know some designs that are like uber modern and very, you know, similar to like 699, maybe. I think the design kind of calls for 10-foot. But I mean, even if, you know, this drops to a 9-foot, 9.5 feet, like you said, every foot counts. And I think that there's again another compromise where you know, 6 inches can make a material difference, I think, from that view. So it's just that combination of that corner and the height. It really just whacks off a lot of view, and I don't see the requirements to have to design that way to have like a really great output of the house and make the renovation kind of worthwhile. So that's kind of where I'm at. I think there's some, you know, some nip and tucks there that I think would greatly improve greatly minimize the impact on the neighbors.
Well, let's see where to begin. I went inside all 3 neighbors' homes with the main concerns. And the thing is the photos submitted are pretty deceiving. From across the street, they're all hyper zoomed, they're oriented down as if the entire view, you know, as if it's a very significant proportion of the actual view. And it's not, I didn't see that when I was there. Same with 699. The view is much broader, and the portion that's being removed by the proposed extension is a very small percentage of that overall view. And same with the 3 Rock Hill. If I am protective of views as well, so it's not, I'm not trying to be, you know, cavalier about view loss. I feel my judgment was that each of those view losses experienced is negligent. I have accurate photos that are not zoomed, and you can barely see the story poles above it.
That's from 705.
That's from 705. And same, I mean, again, you've got, that's the whole view, and you've got this little bit. So I feel supportive of it the way it is. I really do sympathize with, though, the square footages are precious, and to lose anything feels like it's going to be monumental, and I don't think it is. What I read on the drawings is that the height increase was 2'6". I didn't see the 2'9". The issue with going down, and well, let me speak to the 10-foot thing first. I disagree with you don't need 10 feet. Again, understanding the cost per square foot, understanding building, understanding that these homes are precious and we love our homes. So every dollar we put into it, we want to maximize the sense of space. And I do think it's very significant. I would never, you know, design a house with an 8-foot ceiling unless, again, we're smudging in under somebody else. Like, obviously, if it's critical. To me, that the loss I'm seeing here does not feel critical. Let's see, what else? Going down. That's an excellent idea and an excellent solution for a new home. Brilliant. You know, that is not the case here. It's a renovation. And so I think that I want to be sensitive to the cost for doing work here. And is the impact enough to require that? So those are my thoughts.
All right, so I'm seeing this one for the first time, but I did watch the entire recording and listen to everybody's comments. You know, this one's not an easy one. Like it was, you know, I went out yesterday and felt the need to go back again today, just because it's kind of been mulling in my head the last 24 hours. Yeah, I've been on the board long enough that I've seen 3 of the houses on the left hill of Rock Hill side as you're going up get developed, right? So, you know, I think 3 Rock Hill was first, and they, you know, we basically kept it low for the simple reason that the uphill neighbor would have been impacted if they'd gone higher, only for the uphill neighbor to eventually come around, do an application that didn't their uphill neighbor didn't like the decision enough to appeal the design review board decision when we felt like it was a, you know, remodel, but it had some roof lines that were impacting. And then the 699 went in, you know, most recently, and again, you know, because 3 Rock Hill had gone down, you know, they needed to not maybe maximize what they could have if 3 Rock Hill hadn't gone down. So, you know, the amount of sensitivity on, like, if I could reshape Tiburon, I would want a taller hill here. But, you know, the fact of it is it exists, and the views across the tops of these homes, like 6 inches makes a difference. That said, I was, you know, it seemed like a lot of the concern last time, but it was less about height and more about the corner, right? And I guess I came a little bit, maybe just because I feel like so sensitive about all the heights around there. I guess I came with a little bit more of a high perspective. The corner didn't bother me as much, simply because there was a design decision by 699 very recently to say, hey, look, we're going to orient an entire wall of windows on a corner, right, facing what is arguably the best way to orient those windows, right, toward the water, toward the view, toward, you know, southern exposure, right? Like that was a great design decision, but those windows are also oriented toward a home that, you know, in a town like Tiburon will eventually get improved, right? You can't expect that a, you know, 8-foot ceiling, you know, flat roof house won't get eventually developed, right? And so I think there has to be some recognition that, you know, and it doesn't, you know, the owner of the home had recently moved in there, but it was a design decision by, you know, the previous owner, their design team to kind of set it up that way, right? And so I guess I'm probably a little bit more where Phoebe is, which is like, not everybody has the luxury of just saying, hey, we're scraping the entire house, we're going down 3 feet, you know, and jackhammer away for months and months, right? You know, some people do want to be able to, you know, improve their home without having to redo the entire foundation, right? And so I guess, so then you kind of go, I guess my head's been going through this decision tree of, okay, number one, should they be allowed to have more than 8-foot ceilings? Absolutely, right, in this day and age. Then the question is, what is the right number? And we'll maybe come back to that, right? And then, so if we say, okay, well, they're going to have to go with higher ceilings, so you can either go up or you can go down. Is it, you know, reasonable to require an applicant to have to go down if that's not the most sensible way to develop the house, right? Is there some aspect of a barred view across the top of those 2 feet of that house that other people have been afforded for a period of time? So I guess I wonder if, you know, I'm probably not on the, you absolutely have to have 10, because we've done a lot of things to bring people down to 9. I think definitely 9 is like a minimum these days. I think that's like considered the standard residential minimum. So I guess I'm wondering, is there maybe a number that exists somewhere between 9 and 10? And I don't want to, you know, throw a number out there with that will lead any witness, but I just wonder, is there another number that allows, the applicant to, improve it without necessarily having to go down, but still, lessen some of the impacts on the surrounding neighbors? Yeah.
Just for reference sake. For 3 Rock Hill, do you know what the finished floor to finished ceiling height in that final thing is? Just because I saw that space, and also what is the finished floor to finished ceiling on 699, just so that I understand what the scale of like 8 feet
Yeah.
or 9 feet and 10 feet are.
I do have a copy of the approved plans for 3 Rock Hill, and finished floor for the dining room and entry is 9 feet 6 inches.
Uh-huh.
And for the primary bedroom and bathroom, it is 9 feet.
Okay, and then for 699, do you have that?
I can find it.
Okay.
Be just a moment.
Okay.
Also, while we're waiting, I wanted to just respond also, Alex, to your comment about not pushing it out. If I'm understanding correctly, you're talking about pushing it out closer to Rock Hill? You're talking
I'm talking about these 3.5 feet.
Yeah, and I disagree with it not being important because of the width of the kitchen it creates, and it's not in the setback. They're not asking for a variance. I think it's this direction that's causing the neighbor at 699, not this.
That's what I was trying to find.
Yeah, yeah.
Previous had,
That's
it was,
important.
it was, they cut off this much.
Where's
That's
this
right.
thing in that corner?
The existing's right here.
So this is causing. So this is from this push out.
This one is.
This right.
This one.
These story poles.
I'm gonna go.
That one.
I cannot run plans here. So the existing, the dining room and this are coincident. And so what they're doing is in the middle here, they're pushing it out like that.
Right. And
I actually, I want us to definitely continue this conversation, but having now been an audience member, watching it and having all you discuss stuff and have everybody else can we put the plans back up on the big screen? And then if we're going to point to stuff, just so the audience can see what we're pointing at, I think would be helpful. Maybe go to the page that you're referencing,
A1.11.
A111.
Yes.
Yeah, I was watching the recording and everybody kept going, and this and this.
Yeah,
I'm like, what
yeah,
are they pointing
that's-
at?
so, yeah, we go to the floor plan.
So it looks like they did push out this wall too. I think they pushed out, so we can show this. Can you show the previous plan? So they did push out that wall as well.
If I
Yeah,
may,
push it down.
we might want to take a brief recess here. Staff has tried to go get the plans to answer
Yeah,
one of
sorry.
the questions that's already on the floor. So it might be a good idea just to take a 2 or 3 minute recess so she has a chance to do that.
That sounds good. All right. Use this opportunity a little water. little more time or?
Just to confirm, you wanted the original plans from the November 20th meeting, correct? And then the updated plans?
No, I think you were looking for the ceiling height
Oh.
of 699.
Oh, I was looking, oh, wait,
Was
so the
that-
question I had for you, just so I understand the scale, like what a 9'6" finished floor to finished ceiling look like, and then at 699, I wasn't sure if that's also 9'6" or 10 feet. I just was
The
wondering.
numbers you gave us that was 9, 6, and 9 feet, was that for
That
3
was
Rock Hill or for?
Yeah.
That was for 3 Rockville, and then
Okay.
for 699, I just checked and it was 10 feet.
Okay.
And I think the garage is 9.
Okay. And then if you could put up drawing number 1.10 and then A110 and A111.
Yes, of the current plans for 700 Hawthorne.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna share the screen, and while I'm sharing it, can you remind me which sheets?
A110 and A111.
A 1.11 is the proposed.
Okay, so if you go to A10, the dining room and the front wall, that is just one continuous wall. And then if you go to A10, A11, yes. So they did two things.
Sorry.
The original wall is in the front piece. The in the back, they still pushed it out a little bit. And then I don't know how to use this. Oh, sorry. Okay, so this wall is pushed out. It's out from this wall. So you can tell that it's pushed out a little bit. And then this is pushed out. And then also what you can see is that there's this little datum here. So the reason why they probably pushed this wall there is because they didn't want to push it in the same amount, because then you would have a little weird notch out. So that's what I'm seeing.
Got it. Okay. So, Phoebe, to clarify, I agree. You can't push that wall in and have that kitchen layout and keep the other wall fixed. And my question is, why do we have to keep this? Why is this wall fixed?
Yeah, and my guess, just the way houses are built, is that is a load-bearing wall, and it's saving money to keep it. I mean, that's what it usually is.
Right.
And I just don't think that moving out closer and not going into the setback, like, again, these lots are limited size. And so to be able to push out and use valuable space for the interior instead of a larger than necessary side yard makes a lot of sense from a
Sure.
design point of view. So, and I don't think that's the part that's bothering the neighbor at 699.
It's this part right here.
It's there.
That's
the
that part, yeah.
That's the part.
I agree.
Got it. And it's just the angle. It's
Yeah.
Because
the
what
angle.
you're looking
It's the
at is
angle.
this. And so previously it went out here,
yep.
and so they pushed it back, but not all the way to this wall.
Okay.
Yep.
So it's interesting that pushing out was on the other thing. So that dining room, you're getting all that impact from pushing it out
Not very much more.
to.
It
is
looks
it
like
two 2.2 feet.
no, it's being pushed out. That wall is being pushed out maybe an inch, or not an inch, a foot, 6 inches a foot.
You mean down toward the water or closer? What do you?
From this, oh, what did I just push? No, I'm too much power. This right here, versus that. I don't know what that delta is, but that is a delta. Look right here. That is a delta
Yeah.
right there. That little piece. That's probably, I don't know. I can't scale things because I don't see
Well,
it.
that's, yeah, you're saying that the side wall of the dining
So-
room is further out
Yeah.
than the nook wall.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe fractionally. It might be because it's a 2x6 wall instead of a 2x4. Also.
I
looks
think
to me.
it's more than that. I think it's this distance right there.
so then that corner is actually, that blockage is from adding the height, then this whole, and it's the height with the angle then, if this isn't really being pushed out, then it's just the height and the
Yeah.
perspective of where you're at.
I think it's pushed out a foot. Sorry. I think it is because if you scale it, this piece right here is 2'2". Sorry. This right here is 2'2".
And the other
That
one's what?
corner to that. So that piece to that is like probably a foot. So they pushed it out a foot.
And again, when you look at that,
Why I took these
I
pictures.
ju-
It was-
okay.
So
is
I,
that's, yeah.
I think the view impact is lessened as you walk
Mhm.
towards towards what is it, Rock Hill. But as you're in the center of this is the challenge generally with ankles, right?
Yeah.
As you walk more in the entertainment in the living room space, that impact is more severe.
Yeah, this,
And that's just the problem with that's
Yeah.
just how the story goes,
I think that Brian brings a really good point, brings up a point though, that it was the choice of the previous architect to create a glass corner window. So when you take a picture straight out that corner and say, well, that's pushing out, I mean, that corner glass window is oriented exactly at the house, and thank goodness it's got that big, broad, gorgeous window to the right as well, and you move around in space, and so you still have that view down to the bay. So again, I think it's a negligible subtraction on the left for that view.
I
So what do we
think I'm kind of in that same place where, let's just say that, the application before us tonight had gotten developed 1 year before, right? And then the application came through for 699. I think the architect would probably still orient it exactly that direction to capture that view across the intersection of those two streets, right? It's a smart decision, but I think to severely limit the applicant from being able to make what is relatively, it doesn't feel modest, I think, when you're a neighbor and you're looking at new story poles, right? It feels very impactful. I think I appreciate also, just having listened to the original meeting, I appreciated that I think there was a sincere first attempt made to build the most respectful for the neighborhood. We regularly see this, right? Like, we could have started here with a 2-story addition, a 2nd-story addition going on top of this to really capture views, maximizing every corner of the lot. We would have sent them back to the drawing board with 2 or 3 continuances to eventually maybe end up with a design that looks like this. And then everybody goes, oh, wow, that's so much better. But it's like, wait a second, that was kind of the right design to begin with. And so I guess I feel like there was a sincere attempt to say, hey, look, how do we, given working with what we already have, try to minimize it.
What if can we make a comment on a piece of planning? If they got rid of this, wow.
Yeah, so right now that stays in the design, right?
Yeah, if they got rid of that, what a great
What are you
compromise.
talking about?
Right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, but isn't there a
mean, that-
fence? Is there a fence going there that's 9 feet or?
Yeah, there's a fence, but it's not going to go as high as it's going to go this way, but that whole thing is
Should we say
outside.
what you're talking
Yeah.
about?
Yeah. Okay. So if we go to the plan,
I think that has been.
landscaping plan A101. Or let me see, I can't, sorry, can't squeeze it. That's the new plan, right? Yeah, that's the new plan. So A101. So it's looking at what did I just do? Oh. Yeah, this one. Oh, right here.
We will be getting rid of that.
If you get rid of that, that's gonna open up the view a lot.
It actually opens up water view,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that'll open up the water view. It says existing, it doesn't say demolished, so it's not on the plan. But
So Photinia.
yeah, Photinia, yep. And then the other thing I wanted to point out was if you go upward, can you scroll up? Oh. Is that the existing garage right there? There's a bunch of planting there, planting. It looks like it's removed. What? Yeah, that planting right there. This one. If that could be replanted with something that's, not 14 feet high, but like maximum shrubbery that goes up to like 6 feet, I think the neighbors could win there too. They don't have to maintain it. They don't have to ask them to maintain it.
This tree?
Yeah, no.
Or
No. Oh. Won't have that view.
Suzanne, I think that's an excellent observation about that big bush thing. Because that's gonna, if they remove that, that would open up a significant amount of water view.
Agreed.
And then along Hawthorne, if they can replant something there that's not 14 feet high, that has to get cut all the time, but has a maximum maturity of like 6 feet. Still maintains privacy, but it opens up the view for the neighbor and the neighbor doesn't have to worry about cutting that all the time. Can we make recommendations like that?
Yes, there is not a resolution to be adopted,
Okay.
so you could, as part of there are a couple options. I know we're kind of maybe jumping ahead. You can ask for revised plans accounting for really anything, landscaping, if you want any modifications to the dwelling, that can be part of what you request to bring back. Or you can just ask that a resolution is brought back for adoption with specific conditions.
I think on the Rock Hill side, just to limit the landscaping. And on the Hawthorne side, I think. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, my only concern about, but right now they're blocking the home. So I think if you require those to either be removed or brought down, all you're going to do is see more house, and that might not be what the neighbor wants. Is would be my concern.
But right now the neighbor has to get that cut all the time.
That's from across the street.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm less concerned about that personally, from that.
So let me float.
And then I would like a little bit of the ceiling, the roof height to be pushed down just a little bit, because it's not going to be, the impact isn't going to be the 2'9". It's actually going to be bigger. There's a possibility it can get bigger.
What if maybe before making a motion, maybe before making a potential motion, just if a motion was floated that let's say brought down the height to 9'6", 6 inches shorter. I'm sure the applicant's not going to like it. I'm sure the neighbor's not going to feel it's enough, which maybe is a decent compromise, but like 6 inches matters around this neighborhood. So if let's just say the ceiling height was brought down to 9'6", the removal of the Photinia on the side, which I think frees up a lot of, it gives a win to the neighbor at 699 on seeing more water view. I'd also want to see a condition that the flue not exceed no more than the minimum, maximum required,
Minimum.
the minimum required by code. Yes.
That's great.
Mhm.
Would, and I think that would,
Support it.
I'd be on board with that.
all right.
And then any new planting over there doesn't exceed the height of the fencing
Amateur.
on the Rock Hill side, yeah. But they're gonna remove it, but we're not allowing,
But it's also the width of the planting too, because I think that's where you're getting a lot of
The
wind
width
here.
is the way it goes out. I mean, yeah.
yeah, to limit to,
So,
I see what you're saying.
yeah, the width is.
It's just, it's both.
It's both. But you want some planting there because it's otherwise it's a big
Yeah, there
fence.
is, yeah.
Vines.
Yeah, vines, ground cover vines, but not a shrub.
Mhm.
So how would we want to specify what a plant not to exceed at maturity a certain width?
Or just allow for just ground cover plants that just cover the ground and vines that grow on the fencing, but not a shrubbery, not something with three-dimensional characteristics in that corner.
Plant without three-dimensional characteristics. That's easy.
Clearly, none of us are landscape architects here.
Plants have dimension, yeah. But I think it'll be better for visibility. I mean, it's not just the view, but it's also going around that corner.
Yeah, I think without micromanaging, I think removing that plant and, we're talking on the outside of the fence,
Yeah,
correct?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would say, I mean, maybe then what we say is that, a shrub that is not to exceed about 4 feet. Because they do have dimension, even vines have dimension, so, that way there can be something really pretty there,
Mhm.
And you've got a lot of freedom in there, but it's not going to, the grade goes down. A 4-foot shrub is not going to impede, it's not gonna grow
Yeah.
past the ivy across the road.
So plantings not to exceed 4 feet that would grow
the
4
outside of
4
the
feet
fence.
from the fence at maturity.
Yeah,
Right.
4 feet tall is what I was.
Or 4
Okay,
feet.
I was just going to clarify, do you have any requests in terms of depth? We're talking 4 feet high. I
don't
think you were
so,
saying,
Because it's
I
not
think-
gonna make it.
Yeah,
I
if
agree.
you're gonna limit to a plant that goes only 4 feet up, that'd have to be a really
Yeah.
wide
I
plant.
don't think it matters how bushy it is at that point anyway,
Right.
because to your
That's-
point,
yeah.
you're.
It's pretty low.
It would break up, the bottom 3 or 4 feet, yeah.
great, thank you.
All right, so, so I think the motion would be, to direct staff. I mean, I guess I could take a step. So I think we don't have a resolution, right? So it'd be to direct staff to bring back a resolution with, yeah, so I'd like to make a motion to direct staff to, bring back a resolution, that would approve the project with the following conditions: removal of the fotina on the Rock Hill side, a height, roof height, I guess lowering the roof by 6 inches so that the ceiling height is now 9.6. A condition that the flue, final flue be no taller than the minimum required by code, and that the plantings along the fence on, is it just the Rock Hill side, or we want to just say like along yeah, basically along the entire fence be no higher than 4 feet at maturity? Would there be
On the outside,
on the outside of the
on the
fence?
outside of the fence. Yeah,
Would there be a second on that motion?
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None?
What?
No, I'm just saying on Tiburon Boulevard, there is one bush that could potentially be there too. We'll talk about that.
Is it?
Oh, well, we shouldn't talk about, hold on a second, there's a motion that, Robert Rules of Order. So there was a motion on the floor. We won't,
It's fine.
okay.
If I'm-
Maybe we, what's that?
If I may,
Okay.
since we are coming back, since we have to bring the resolution back, you will have an opportunity to review it at the second,
Okay.
at the May 7th hearing. So if you do want to make any modifications, you're able to do so at that time.
Are you saying that there's a shrub on the other side of the continue that we can't see it? Okay.
Can't see, so yeah, I want to make sure that.
Yeah, if we're opening that up, we want to make sure we open it up.
Good.
Gotcha.
All right.
Fair.
So with that, I think we move on to the last item, which is adjournment. All right. All right. Thank you, everyone.
All right,